Do you anticipate Vlasic at all this weekend, or just
No, he will not play this weekend. No. Still hoping, for game one, but obviously he's day to day, so we'll see.
It seemed like the groupings today were pretty much full of the NHL guys. Is that, you said the other day that the lineup for tomorrow might be close, but does it seem like it's closer than maybe you expected?
No, I still think it's a lineup of guys that have that are all guys that are NHL guys, but we still have decisions to make, and those decisions aren't closed out today. We'll play 2 games this weekend. Friday will be a much more experienced lineup, but that doesn't mean that if you're not in the game Friday that you're not making the team. We'll make those decisions after. You just no reason to make decisions before you get all the information, and so you play a total of 6 exhibition games, and let's use all of them.
With Matt Grzelcyk, what sort of conversations had you have? Obviously his situation is unique, where he's either here or probably looking for an NHL team. What have you made of his camp, and where do you kind of feel like he stands right now?
Well, he's done a good job. He's a good player. We knew he was a good player when he signed the PTO. Mike Vellucci coached him last year in Pittsburgh. I've seen him a lot over the years between Boston and Pittsburgh. He's a good player. He's he's probably a pretty steady player. So then it just the conversations we had coming in is come in, and in my mind we probably had 10 defensemen for like 7 spots, and so he was in that mix at 10. We'll go through the weekend and make a decision on what's best, and obviously he's a PTO, so he's not a signed player, and so we'll see where that all goes. Ultimately he's come in and done a pretty good job.
How have you felt Landon Slager's kind of come back up to speed since he rejoined?
Well, I think one, this was really the first kind of day he got to do PK, which will be something that I think he's going to want to do a good job with. But I think he can get back up to speed in a hurry because he plays. It's pretty natural from tenacious in his manner. So it'll be good to get him in a game or 2 even. I might ultimately play him in 2 just to get him as up to game speed as he can.
Can you tell me a little bit about Andrei Burakovsky's camp, what you thought of him?
Yeah, so I think he's done a good job. I've seen him through the years, and he's a guy who can, I think, as advertised, he can transport the puck. He can bring it into the zone, kind of delay, find the next layer. You saw that with giving it to Bedard on the one-timer in last game. He can kind of do those kind of things. I think he's done a good job of, him and I've talked about, just like the rest of the team, he's got to be good defensively. We've got to make sure that we're two-way players, and I think he's done a good job of that. He's worked to try to win puck battles. So overall, I think he's had a good start to his camp, and hopefully he can finish strong here this weekend.
When you've got a player whose name is in trade rumors, how do you handle that as a coach? How do you keep him focused?
I think ultimately every situation is a little different. For right now, I'm a big believer in controlling what you can control, and that's the practice today. And that's the hardest thing in the world, I think, to do at times. But ultimately, that's the only thing you have an impact on is what you have in front of you, and so doing the best job you can with the tasks that are put in front of you, and then moving forward to the next day.
How often are you talking to Kyle Davidson right now, kind of about the larger decisions, but also situations like that?
We talk on a certainly every day, multiple times a day basis. But we're also, I think, both kind of the same ilk that let's see how things play out, and continue to watch and don't get into too many rush decisions, and just kind of play it out and let's see where it goes.
If it comes down between the two of you on a roster decision, who has the ultimate say? If you're, if you want this defenseman and he wants, we'll find out, I guess, right?
Ultimately, Kyle's the GM, so he has final say in player personnel decisions, and and he would say to me, I have final say on, our hockey team, how we play, stuff like that. He has final say on that stuff, but I think there's a lot of things that go on. First off, I would tell you that I get the bigger picture on a lot of this stuff too, and I think I've shown in my time to I guess of the word team player, but like we're in this together and we want to get to the best result. And so, you know, I think understanding the big picture is important, and us being on the same page is important. And that's why you have decision. You know, we've had conversations preceding it, so when those decisions come up, at least we're on the same page.